Hey guys, Kat here. Welcome back to my channel. Today I'm gonna talk about my TBR for the Autumn Readathon. So the Autumn Readathon was announced by Mercy's Bookish Musings, and I just love her, adore her, and I love her channel. And I am really excited for the Autumn Readathon. So it is from October 22nd to the 28th, and I am really looking forward to it. Without further ado, let's go ahead and get into it. The first tag I want to talk about is historical fiction, and for that I'm going to read Days Without End by Sebastian. This is an account of the Indian Wars and the Civil Wars in the 1850s, and it is following a boy named Thomas McNulty and his brother-in-arms John Cole as they fight in the wars. So I first heard about this book because people were saying that it had LGBTQ elements in it, which I have never read involving the Civil War or the Indian Wars before. I read As Meat Loves Salt, which dealt with the French Civil Wars, and it also has queer elements in it, but I wanted to give this one a go, also because I don't read that much historical fiction. I'm not such a huge fan unless it has some other element in there to pull me in. So I am a huge fan of this cover as well, and when I saw it in Tokyo, I just had to pick it up. So this is my pick for historical fiction. Okay, so moving on to the next one, a book where there is a young female protagonist who kind of is up against a lot, and for that I'm going to read The Power by Naomi Alderman. So this book has been on my TBR for a very long time, and I just picked it up in Tokyo during the summer, and it won the Bailey's Women Prize for Fiction this year, and it just looks amazing. So it's about what would happen if one day young women suddenly have the power to electrify using their hands. So I think that it's talking about how the dynamics of power in society would change and how suddenly men would be the less physically strong of the two. And I just think that it is going to be really interesting, and I can't wait to read it. I'm super glad that I haven't read it before because it fits in with this challenge so perfectly. And also the red is just, you know, really on point for fall. So the next book is a gothic or spooky book. So for this one, I didn't know which one to pick, and then I saw that James Chatham was talking about reading the Vorrh, and I had picked up the Vorrh in America, and I haven't even hauled it yet, but I was like, hey, you should read the Vorrh so we can read it together, and he was like, sure. So I'm just gonna read you the back, and it sounds really creepy, so it sounds kind of perfect. Outside the colonial town of Essenwald lies the Vorrh, a vast, perhaps endless forest. Sentient and magical, a place of demons and angels, of warriors and priests, the Vorrh blends time and wipes memory. So I know that they hire a foreign soldier to go through the Vorrh on basically a quest and a mission, and really creepy things happen, and kind of the Vorrh is like the dark place of nightmares that you wouldn't necessarily want to go, which is why they hire kind of a renegade to go on the journey for them. So I'm really looking forward to reading this with James, and I hope that I do get through it. It is kind of a massive one. It's like almost 500 pages, but I mean, also the cover is just great. So I'm hoping to get to it, really hoping. So next up is a short story collection, and for this one I'm going to choose Just So Stories by Rudyard Kipling. So this is actually a collection of short children's stories that Kipling wrote for his children, and it involves a lot of tales of creatures that live in South America, and I actually had bought this for my fiance because he spent a while working and backpacking through South America, so I thought he'd like it. He hasn't read it yet, but I'm gonna give it a go. Yeah, so it also has really super cute illustrations in here. So, like this one. Yeah, so I'm looking forward to this one. I think it will be a really quick read. It's tiny, and it's a bunch of cute little children's tales, so it shouldn't be too painful to get through. And the last book that I'm going to talk about is going to do double duty for the cold setting and also the nonfiction nature setting. So the book I'm going to choose is Travels in Alaska by John Muir. So I have been meaning to read some John Muir for a long time. I'm a huge fan of Jack London, and kind of John Muir is the grandfather of Jack London, so I feel like I should have read it a long time ago, but I haven't. Travels in Alaska is basically a series of letters and experiences that John Muir had while traveling in Alaska. So he writes about the glaciers and the bald eagles and the whales and the northern lights, and I just think it's going to be amazing. I've heard great things about it. I don't have any nonfiction about nature. I have books about nature that are fiction, and I have cold books, but they're really long and I didn't want to like read them for the challenge. So this is the perfect book to read. I am really looking forward to them, and I can't wait to get into the autumn spirit. I'm kind of already in the autumn spirit. I don't know if you can hear it, but it's raining outside right now, and it is just so lovely. Rainy weather is my favorite reading weather of all time. So thanks so much for watching. What books are you guys reading? Do you have any great recommendations? I would especially love to hear any recommendations you have about nature writers like Kerouac, Krakauer, London, along that line. I would absolutely love some recommendations if you have any. Yeah, so without further ado, I'm just gonna say thanks so much for watching, and happy reading, and have an absolutely amazing autumn. And yeah, see you. Bye!